Hi, everybody. Welcome. All right. Let's see here. I am going. Hi. Hi, everybody. So good to see you all. Aw. Yay. Yeah. So Emily Fletcher is supposed to be joining me here. Emily, hi. So I'm just chilling here in my towel. I was supposed to be like all glammed up for this to have a little chat with my bestie Emily, but I ran out of time because I was helping a friend who's going through something really difficult. And I was like, you know what? Better to show up for my friends and be here on the Instagram Live with wet hair and a towel. And you all, I'm sure you've been there. So, hi. Okay, we should be good now. Yay, and Emily's here. So, hi, Emily. Let's see here. Can we get so much? You always come up with the best ways to be excited about everything. It's not just my bath towel, it's a towel crown. Hi,
Hey!
Emily.
Okay, can we just hear it for Layla? Like only Layla Martin looks this good stepping out of the shower. It's so
All
good.
right. I did put on a tiny bit of lipstick and a little bit of blush. So the
Well,
eyes, this is this natural eye, but I don't want to
it's working.
completely pretend that I was a completely okay coming on with absolutely no makeup because of the replay living on the internet forever. I would have happily been here and just no makeup if it was just us, but because it's going to get posted on the internet for all eternity, I was like, I need some blush and
Well,
lipstick.
it's working. It's working. It's also reminding me of our podcast that we did in Greece in our robes from the bed. So it's
Yeah.
giving me like Crete vibes. So
I'm also losing like the actual wrapped up towel. Now it's just like a towel on my head. Here we go.
it's better. Hi, everyone. Hi, Layla.
Emily.
Hi.
Well, for those of you who do not know Emily, she is my best friend, and she is the creator of Ziva Meditation. She has reached over 50,000 people with her incredible teaching and the way that she really has just had this capacity to inspire a daily meditation practice for people who don't have time to meditate or who aren't monks. And also, one of the things that you've done so beautifully is helped show people how that peace and bliss that they create in meditation also translates to them being able to be powerful manifestors and to be able
Mhm.
to manifest the life of their dreams. So you've always seen this link between being a powerful meditator, someone who can be in peace and in connection with themselves, and a powerful manifester. And then
Mhm.
when we met, and I was like, yo, you could add arrows to that fire. And you were like, you sure can. So you've supercharged your way of teaching manifestation and taken it to a whole new level in these last couple of years. Do you want to tell us about that?
I sure do. And I'd like to start with like the deepest of bows and the deepest of gratitudes and acknowledgments because you guys like I'm sure if anyone's been following me for any amount of time, like you know that like Layla changed my life in a massive, massive way. And it felt like it took my like 15 years or whatever, how many years at that point I had been doing this and like poured rocket fuel on it. And like you initiated me in so many ways and you introduced me to these ancient pleasure practices and the idea that you said this word the first time you ever led me in sex magic. You said, for thousands of years, ecstasy was seen as a purifying force. And as someone who grew up Southern Baptist and someone who grew up with like a lot of guilt and shame around sexuality, like most of us, like that one sentence rocked my world. And the first time I ever experienced sex magic with you, I was like, wait, why isn't everyone doing this like legitimately? And so I like, I did what I do and I got on my megaphone and I started like being like, how can I use my superpower of trying to bring this to more like mainstream people or people who haven't yet had the privilege of under to going to a tantra workshop or that maybe are a little scared. And so I've been really framing it as embodied manifesting and giving people like linking it to meditation. And so what we're going to be doing tomorrow at 1 p.m. is an event called Magic Maker. And I would like to celebrate that I have 20,000 people who've said yes. Like,
Yay!
what? Breaking Ziva records over here, by the way, using the formula, like using Eros, using pleasure to like fuel this dream. And we have 20,000 people who are going to come together tomorrow at 1 p.m. and we're going to visualize, alchemize, and magnetize. So we're going to drop into coherence with ourselves and we're going to hold a vision for heaven on earth. Like, what does heaven on earth look like for you personally? What does it look like for the planet? And then we're going to alchemize anything that's not a fit for that. And that's something that I learned from our friend Regina Thomashower, aka Mama Gina. She's been teaching for 30 years this beautiful technology that has changed our lives that we do together called swamping. And so basically, we're going to go in and like feel into the stuck places, like the places that are not a match. And we're going to let them be composted and turn the actual fear into fuel. And then we're going to magnetize, meaning we're going to let ourselves feel as good as possible. And my workshop's probably not going to go like as deep and daring as Layla's will, because I know Layla's doing a thing next week. Is it August 7th through 10th?
Yeah.
And I think people get to do like a full pleasure practice with Layla. But if you're like looking to start and we're going to work more with breath and energy, but we're going to get into very high states of consciousness. We're going to create like a big field. I imagine we'll have somewhere between 5,000 and 8,000 people live, and you can do a lot with 5,000 people in the field. Like, I'm not going to waste this opportunity. Like, yes, I'll be inviting people into the course, but we're going to actually use our pleasure to pray for the planet tomorrow. So like, bring your rage, bring your sorrow, bring your dreams, and we're going to make a giant collective antenna and pour some joy over the planet, because I think it needs it right now.
Yay! So if you want an invitation to this event, it is free. It'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern time, right? Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And with Emily, then you can comment. So we'll repost this. You can either DM me. So if you are watching this live right now, you can send me a DM with the word Ziva, Z-I-V-A, or you can comment Ziva underneath this post if you're watching the replay right now, and we will send you the invitation link so that you can go ahead and join. So, Emily, will you share you just used the phrase heaven on earth. What is heaven on earth to you?
So I believe that heaven is a vibration, not a destination. And so that's what we're going to do tomorrow, is we're going to start to vibrate at the frequency of heaven on earth in our bodies right here, right now. And fun fact, tomorrow is Mary Magdalene's feast day, which I did not know when I said this like
No.
3 months ago. And the divine feminine is all about finding the divine through the body, right? Different than like outsourcing our divinity or going through a book or a text or like needing to find the holiness outside of us. The feminine has always invited us internal. And you taught me this as well, that the hero's journey is external, but that the heroine's journey is internal. And so I think it's not an accident that we're doing this tomorrow on Mary Magdalene's feast day, but that we're going to find that vibration of heaven, even if we have to go through a moment of hell. Like, even if we have to go through a moment of like, fuck, I'm pissed that this thing hasn't happened yet, or I'm sad that it may never happen, or I'm scared of who I will have to become to be able to receive this dream. And we're going to really feel this. And I think I'm just like quoting Layla here. I love it. You said to me as well, you said trauma witnessed in community can be transmuted. And we're not going to go deep into like our deepest, darkest traumas tomorrow, but we are going to have a safe container with amazing playlists to be able to actually be witnessed in the stuckness. There's a lot of suffering happening on the planet right now. And
Yeah.
rather than us continue to suffer with that, because our suffering is not helping anyone, then what we're going to do is be able to like name that, let it be witnessed, let it be expressed, and then alchemized into fuel for the dream. So that's what heaven on earth means for me, is like vibrating at a state of possibility, vibrating in a way that we remember just how creative and powerful we are.
Yeah, and you've really been recently, I mean, I know you've been doing this for a while, but recently you've been very focused on taking this power of manifestation and changing the course of destiny for the planet, right? Can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit more about that for someone who's like, how could just like doing a meditation or a manifestation in a group field like this actually change the planet?
Yeah, so I just got invited to teach at this beautiful festival in Greece called Colibri. And to be honest, they
Mhm.
hired me as a meditation teacher. They were like, we have one slot. We want a silent meditation teacher for the yin day. We just want some rest. We advertised it as like, come do Ziva meditation. It's 5 times deeper than rest. People show up at 8 in the morning exhausted. And I was like, get up, we gonna pray. And we do a full Ziva magic activation, because this group was so coherent and you could tell that you could take them anywhere. And also, it was a really intense time on the planet. There's like nuclear war happening. And it's like, what? How is it 2025 and we're even talking about nuclear war? So we get 1,000 people, like 1,000 humans, into coherence with themselves. We meditate. I have them hold their vision of heaven on earth. And I'm not here to tell anyone what that is, right? Like, it's not my dream. It's not my version of heaven on earth. It's your version of heaven on earth. And for most people, that looks like harmony and beauty and reciprocity and nature and, whatever flavor of that. But for most people, their version of heaven on earth is pretty awesome. So anyway, then we alchemize anything that's not a match. We like shook and shake and danced. And then 1,000 people get into a circle. I have them imagine an antenna right in the middle of the stage. And then they're breathing and dancing and singing. And at the moment of peak pleasure, everyone sends all of this dream right up to the antenna. They're all like crying tears of joy as if everyone's heaven on earth has just come true. And an hour later, they announced a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. And I was like, look, I'm not saying we did that, but we played our part. Like we did our part in making that heaven on earth real.
Yeah. And a huge part of manifestation is that you spend time immersing your nervous system in what you want to happen. And that changes the orientation of your nervous system. And very, without, I mean, I think most of us know this, but if we spend all the time reading negative news, being miserable, thinking that the world is doomed, being depressed, we're not actually creating a nervous system that's capable of making a new reality. So immersing ourselves in like, what am I actually here to build? What am I actually here to create? What kind of world am I here to make is really powerful for orienting our nervous systems towards building the world we want.
Yes.
And on top of that, like that collective visualization is powerful beyond, I think, what most people recognize.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you guys actually create the ceasefire? Like, who knows? But can literally millions of people coming together and focusing on love and a better destiny for this planet shape the vibration of the planet? I absolutely believe so. If we believe one person can send you bad vibes or good vibes, or one person can send you healing energy or curse energy, why can't millions of us send the planet blessing energy?
Well, I mean, have you ever been to a party and like the party's awesome and everyone's on a vibe and it's feeling really good, and then one person walks in and they just like kill the vibe? Like, if we
Yep.
believe that that's possible, and actually, I just read that one person vibrating at the frequency of pure unconditional love is powerful enough to offset 750,000 people vibrating at the frequency of fear.
There you
So,
go.
like, that's based on David Hawkins. So, I've not like tested that myself, but I'm going to choose to believe that that is true.
I will say for you, like you do live heaven on earth, right? And the way that you live heaven on earth is it's not that you avoid the lower vibration emotions, but you don't stay there. That's what I've like really experienced in you. It's like you will feel grief when you need to feel grief. You will feel sadness when you need to feel sadness. You'll be in fear when you need to feel some fear. You will bitch when you need to bitch. But then you're like done and you're back to heaven. And I think that's the thing that people miss about heaven on earth is you can't be in heaven on earth if you don't let yourself feel what's real.
Yeah.
But most of us are running a story that we have to stay in the thing that's making us miserable, stay in the story of sadness, stay in the story of grief. And you visit all those places, but then you just get back to heaven really fast. And I've seen that really trigger people who are like attached to their hell. Like when people subtly just want to feel bad all the time, they have a
Mhm.
hard time being around you. But what I get from you is this like, wait, no, I could just be grateful and happy and joyful. Like I don't have to sit here and like stay attached to the lowest vibration thing I could possibly be feeling in this moment. I can rise to the level of my highest gratitude in this moment. I can rise to the level of my highest joy. And when you do that long enough, that becomes your baseline. And that's the baseline I see you living at, which is
Mm.
so inspiring.
Thank you, Layla. I take that as very high praise. Like truly, the fact that you're like, Emily, I used to maybe wonder if you were bypassing, but now I think it's just mastery. Like I think you go there and then you come back. And I really like I take that compliment very like really I hold it in my heart. And also you've really helped me to give me the tools to go into the darkness, right? Because like only a ding dong is gonna go into like amputating your leg without anesthesia, right? Like no one wants to go into the full intensity of our pain if we don't have any sort of an anesthetic. And I find that the eros and the pleasure is not there to numb, it's not there to anesthetize, but it is like this lubricating force, and it's actually this like alchemical transmuting force that like lets you be braver to go into the fullness of what is real, because that is, I mean, it's real out there, you know what I mean? Like, and it's only going to get more real. Like the rate of change is speeding up on the planet. So while I have been a bypasser in the past, and I guess I was Florida's junior miss in 1997, and I have a tendency towards Pollyanna, I also now am equipped with the tools to go into grief and to go into rage. Au naturel is great until you lose a child. And actually, I just did an activation an hour ago. I just got off actually, and a woman was on, and she said, I lost my son a year ago. And she went through this process, and she said, and we grieved together, we raged together. And she said, right now is the first time I've felt hope in a year. And so, au
Mm.
naturel, I'm so deeply, deeply sorry for your loss. I cannot even fucking imagine what that must feel like. And I want you to know that, like, there is help. You don't have to stay here. And I pray for you that you have friends like Layla and tools like these to help you to feel it all the way and alchemize it so that you get your hope and your love and your life back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've really spent time with this and losing my father, experiencing the depth of horrific childhood abuse, is that there's a way in which our mind cannot comprehend the pain and the grief of this planet. And when you need it all the way in your soul and in your body, it's not like it makes it okay. It
Mm.
doesn't. It just creates, there's a piece that really does surpasseth, to use the biblical term, all of the pain of this planet. And I found that even the deepest, most potent griefs can be met in that way. It's not
Mm.
about getting rid of them, but when you meet them with your soul and with your body, and you dance them and pray through them and be with them, something else happens. And I've really found this in being with some of the deepest heartbreak, even my mom, right, losing the love of her life after 30 years. And there's
Mm.
a way in which her mind cannot process that level of pain. But when the soul meets it, there's something indescribable that happens. And again, it's not about being like, oh, it's okay now. It just makes it possible to exist in a different way with the greatest pains of this planet.
Yeah. And I found that it's actually that the suffering really comes from not from the feeling of the grief, but from the avoiding the feeling of the grief. Like the
Yeah.
feelings are meant to be felt. The feelings are meant for feeling. They want to be felt. But because most of us have not been equipped, we've not been taught. And most of us, the first time we saw big feelings were when we were children and seeing our parents doing it from a dysregulated state. So like daddy was drinking, he was raging. Now anger feels unsafe and even life threatening. Or mommy is sad and depressed and can't get out of bed. And so now sadness feels like it's going to debilitate me. And so it's very rare that we have healthy models of full emotional expression. And really, this is part of the role of the divine feminine, is to give people the tools to be like, you can do this from a regulated state. You can do this in a way that is safe. And that actually it's the avoiding of the feeling that is causing so much pain and suffering on the planet. I got to speak at Gaia last year. I did a keynote, and there was a Lakota elder there named Doug Goodfeather. And he said that it's the thousands of years of uncried tears that is leading to the devastation on the planet. And that feels so
Mhm.
deeply true to me, that it's all of the generations of inherited trauma that has not been felt, expressed, loved into wholeness. And that is what we have an opportunity to do. And if we don't do that for ourselves as individuals, how on earth do we think that things are going to change collectively? And so, while, tomorrow will we create world peace? Probably not in one ceremony. But if 5,000 people change their day, are more present with their kid, have the capacity to cry with more liberation, have the capacity to feel 10% more pleasure in their body, I'm interested in the ripple effect of that.
Yeah! All right, so that's 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow, it is a free experience with Emily Fletcher. If you DM me, Ziva, Ziva, we will send you the invite link, or you can comment it down below if you're watching the replay. And Emily, just a little flash session before we head off. What are some of the things that you have manifested using this technique?
God, well, like the world's best friends, truly like the best friends on the planet, living in heaven on earth. Like I have this home in nature that I was just crying like tears of joy yesterday because I feel like I'm living on vacation. My son's health, a love. I'm single now, but this beautiful, beautiful tantric relationship for 4.5 years, living with Mama Gina, Regina Thomashower, multiple seven-figure business, praying and also praying for other people's prayers. Like everyone that goes into Ziva Magic, like I do ceremony for all of their dreams.
Yeah.
And so and then we've done it together in like wild caves and churches and sacred sites around the world, like for ourselves and for each other. Trips to Egypt, like all expenses paid trip to Egypt to meet the Dalai Lama, to like sacred sites on the planet. And so it's Antarctica, So it's really, this stuff works, you guys. Layla and I were roommates in Antarctica.
Yeah, and we've done really radical things. Like you wanted to do a sex magic for the highest timeline of your ex. And I was like, I'm here masturbating to the highest timeline of my friend's ex. This is some radical shit here. And I just want to say that you can use this for like really living the highest good and the highest beauty, both in fulfilling yourself with the highest delights and desires,
He
and
just had a
also
baby on
in
Wednesday. He just had his second baby with his new partner and is so happy.
yeah, like that's how your heart is. And I only want to share that for people because I think sometimes people think of manifesting as being this only I game. And while it is important to nourish yourself and manifest your dreams and get what's yours in this one precious life, you can also manifest truly for the highest good of the planet, truly for the highest good of the people around you. It's so amazing to be able to do that. And I've seen you
And
do that
Layla
so
called it
beautifully.
love. Oh, actually, one thing it's fun. Deborah Silverman, the astrologer, we just did an Instagram live yesterday or whatever, and she was like, Emily, I have to tell you something. I was like, what? She's like, I came on your retreat and we did that visualization and then we did that thing and I met someone. She's almost 70 years old and she just found love. And she was like, I was about to give up and she's manifested true love. And it just makes me want to cry. It's so good.
Yay! That's so good. All right, everybody. Well, I highly recommend that you study this and experience this with Emily. There is no reason not to. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Emily, you are one of the teachers of our generation. I love you so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
so
bringing this
much.
transmission to the world and showing us that heaven on earth is truly possible in our lives and
Mm.
as a human species as well. We need people holding that highest vision.
And Layla, thank you so much for who you are and your bravery and the fact that you've been teaching this for 20 years and for every single initiation that you have gifted to me and for being such a beacon and a master of this work. I am in deep, deep gratitude. Thank you for being my best friend. Thank you for living this. I love you. Thank you for today. I love you in a towel. And I'm so stoked for all these people who are commenting Ziva who's going to come tomorrow.
Yay! I love you all so, so
Love
much.
you.
DM me Ziva or comment Ziva down below. We'll send you the invite link, or you can also find it on Emily's page. Love you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.